My name's Jesse. I hadn't seen my Uncle Rick since I was 12. He was a rough man even then. Wiry, cigarette-stained, always looking over his shoulder like he expected something to come out of the woods. Mom said he was paranoid, said he chose weed over family. Turns out, that wasn't far from the truth. He died last fall. Heart attack, according to the paperwork. They found him slumped against the barn door with dirt under his nails and his shotgun lying beside him. He left me the property. Just a cabin, a few acres, and an old barn outside Alder Point, smack in the middle of Murder Mountain. I thought I'd sell it. But the land, even out there, was worth something. Growers were always looking for remote plots. So I made the drive. 3 hours north, then another hour up a winding dirt road that didn't appear on GPS. When I got out of the car, I was hit with the heavy stink of soil, rot, and something else. Something I couldn't place. Something wrong. The house was falling in on itself. Roof caved in, mold climbing up the walls. It was clear Uncle Rick hadn't been inside in months. But the barn was still standing, still locked, with 4 separate chains and a steel deadbolt. A bright red warning had been spray painted on the outside. Never open after dark. The first night, I slept in the truck. The woods pressed in close, the trees whispering with every breeze. I kept waking up, once to what sounded like footsteps, another time to a low moan, dragging across the field. I told myself it was wind, or maybe a deer, but I didn't sleep much after that. The next morning I walked the perimeter, found dozens of deep holes, like someone had been digging. Some were fresh, dirt piled high beside them. Others were old and sunken, like something had climbed out. I tried to shake it off, told myself it was just leftover paranoia from Uncle Rick's growing days. But something about that barn kept pulling at me, like it was waiting. That night I opened one of the chains, just one. I didn't hear the footsteps until midnight. They stopped right behind the barn. Heavy, wet, too many of them. Something brushed the side of the truck around 2 a.m. When I sat up, the red paint on the barn was gone, scrubbed off, or maybe licked off. I should have left, I know that now. But I stayed. Next morning, I opened the rest of the chains, pried the barn door open. It was dark, smelled like meat left in the sun. The floor was dirt, freshly turned, and in the center was a hole, about the size of a grave. At the bottom was something breathing. I slammed the door shut and wrapped the chains again, tighter this time. I stayed up all night with the shotgun across my lap. Around 3 a.m., something slammed into the barn from the inside, hard enough to rattle the hinges. It screamed, long, wet, almost human. I left the next morning, never looked back, sold the land for pennies, told the buyer not to open the barn. He laughed. 3 weeks later, he vanished, so did his truck. So did the man who came looking for him. Some nights I still wake up at 3 a.m. I swear I can hear it. The chains rattling all the way from Humboldt, still alive, still waiting. Whatever my uncle kept in that barn, it didn't die with him. It was just getting hungry. My name's Travis Monroe. Some folks know me online as Wild Track. I've been posting solo survival videos for a couple years now. Remote places, no cell signal. Just me, a top, a blade, and the woods. I've camped in places people won't even hike through, but I've never felt scared like I did near Murder Mountain. This wasn't a bear encounter. This wasn't some backwoods nut with a shotgun. This was something else, something watching. It was supposed to be a 3-night video shoot. Stealth camping off an old logging trail near Alder Point. I'd found the spot through a forestry blog that listed abandoned burn zones you could bushwhack into. Perfect for views. No foot traffic, pure silence. And it was silent. Too silent. Even on the first night there weren't any crickets, no owls. Just the fire crackling and the sound of wind dragging across the trees like a warning. On the second day I hiked further into the brush. That's when I found the first one. A tree. A redwood, tall and straight. Its bark was peeled away in long curling strips. Hanging from nails, stretched flesh, not bark. At first I thought it was some kind of animal hide, maybe deer. But when I looked closer I saw tattoos. Human. There were 5 trees like that, all in a row. All draped in sheets of skin, like somebody had been tanning hides in the forest. I turned around, started walking fast. Then I heard it. Branches above me creaking, not from wind but weight. Something was moving in the canopy. I looked up and saw nothing. But the sound followed. I kept walking, heart hammering. When I reached camp, one of my boots was moved. Just one. Shifted 6 inches to the left. I didn't touch it. I just stared. Then I packed everything and hiked a mile deeper in, away from those trees. But I wasn't alone. That night I didn't sleep. I kept the fire going, blade on my chest. At some point, maybe around 2 a.m., I heard whispering. Not words, just movement, like skin rubbing on bark. When I shined my light into the woods, I saw something behind one of the trees. A shoulder maybe, a hand. Then it moved, too fast, disappearing like smoke. But when I looked up, I swear I saw a face, pressed to the bark 30 feet in the air as if clinging to the tree trunk. At dawn, I ran, left my tarp, left my tripod, even left my food. But the forest wasn't done with me. Half a mile out, I found more trees. Each one had something nailed to it, scalp, knuckles, ears, flattened and dried like leather. In the center of the clearing was a pile, a fresh one. Shoes, camera gear, the top half of a sleeping bag. A body had been there not long ago, and next to it, a new strip of skin, still wet, fluttering in the breeze. I didn't stop until I hit the road. I flagged down a logging truck, blood on my socks, throat raw from breathing too hard. The guy wouldn't even look me in the eyes. He just said, "You went too far. That's their ground." I asked him who. He didn't answer, just drove in silence. And when he dropped me off in town, he said one last thing. They don't kill you all at once. They peel you like fruit, piece by piece, until you belong to the trees. I never posted that video. I don't go near forests anymore. And sometimes, late at night, I still feel it. The pressure of eyes, the creak of a branch outside my window. Like something is still watching. Like it's just waiting to finish what it started. Name's Jordan Phelps. I drive deliveries for a small courier outfit that runs packages all over Northern California. You'd be surprised how far off the grid people live up here. Trailers with no driveways, cabins buried in the brush, whole families that haven't paid taxes since Reagan. But nothing ever rattled me like the family I met outside Murder Mountain. The GPS cut out halfway there. The air smelled off, and the place, it was too quiet. The job came in late. I was already clocking out when dispatch said, "One more for you, Jay. It's way up near Alder Point, signature required." Cash tip made it worth it. By the time I hit the turnoff, the sun had dropped behind the trees. The road wasn't paved, no street signs, no cell service. Just me, the van, and a long gravel trail that wound down into a dark little hollow. The house sat at the bottom of the hill, 2 stories, paint peeling. the windows fogged from the inside. There was a barn off to one side, sagging and half-covered in vines. And on the porch, a woman in an apron, pale, thin, smiling. She waved like she'd been expecting me all day. "Evening, sweetheart," she said. "You come all the way out here just for us?" I nodded, held up the box. "Need a signature." She signed without looking. That's when the screen door opened. A man stepped out, tall, narrow shoulders, white tank top stained brown across the belly. His eyes were wrong. Too wide, too empty. Behind him were two kids, but they didn't move like kids. They stood too still, like dolls, and they were wearing masks. Not Halloween masks, leather, stitched, and shaped like human faces. "Truck trouble?" the man asked. I hadn't said a word about my van. I turned to leave. That's when I saw it. My rear tires were slashed, both of them. I never heard a thing. "You'll stay for supper, won't you?" the woman asked. "We got stew going." I took a step back. "I've got to call dispatch." "No signal out here," the man said. "But we got a radio in the barn, come on." He smiled. That's when I saw his teeth, filed, jagged, rotten. I ran, not toward the barn, back up the gravel path, fast as I could. But they were already behind me, all of them, and they didn't make a sound, just chased me like they'd done it before. I hid in the brush for hours, watched them walk the property, with flashlights made from jawbones. Heard the kids laughing in the trees, the masks glowing in the moonlight. Eventually, they stopped looking. They knew I wouldn't find a way out that night. They had all the roads, all the turns, and all the time in the world. I made it out at dawn, walked 6 miles barefoot until I flagged down a CHP cruiser on 36. I filed a report. But when they went to check the house, it wasn't there. The trail was gone, like it had never existed. They told me I was tired, sleep-deprived, lost. I know what I saw, and I still see it. Every time I close my eyes, the woman's smile, the man's teeth, and the masks. So many masks, hanging on the barn wall, still warm from the last person who came looking. My name's Marcus Hale. I work contracts. Plumbing, HVAC, light demo. I drive a lot. Between states, between towns. Sometimes I don't even remember where I'm headed, just that the gas light's on and I've got miles to go. Last summer I was headed from Coos Bay to LA when I took a wrong turn near Humboldt. My tank was almost empty. I saw a sign for gas, unmarked, rusted, half hidden by trees. I should have kept driving, but I didn't. The road curved hard off the main route, dipped through a canyon of redwoods. My radio went to static. Phone dropped signal. Then, out of nowhere, there it was, a little station. No name, no pumps, just a single garage light buzzing above a corrugated shack. And a man standing out front. Grimy coveralls. Greasy white hair. He was already holding the nozzle like he knew I was coming. "You folks still got gas?" I asked. The man nodded. "Always do." I should have noticed then the tank wasn't hooked to anything. No underground lines, just a hose and a smile. I popped the cap anyway. When the pump clicked off, he said, "Come inside for change. You hungry? Cafe's open." I hadn't seen a cafe, but I followed him anyway. Inside, it looked like a set from an old movie. Vinyl booths, a pie display case, a radio playing something low and grainy, and people. A woman in a pink uniform, an old couple in the back booth, a boy in overalls drawing circles in a sketch pad. Everyone turned to look at me, and no one blinked. The waitress smiled. "Sit anywhere. First meal's free." I didn't want to be rude, so I sat. They brought me stew. Meat, potatoes, thick gravy. I hadn't eaten all day. but the second bite made my stomach turn. The meat was too soft, too stringy. I looked around. The boy was still drawing. Now it looked like a human face peeled open. The old couple was staring at me, wide-eyed, like they were waiting for something. And the woman in pink was whistling along with the radio. Only it wasn't music, it was a voice, a whisper. "He's not ready yet." I stood to leave. The man from the pump was blocking the door. "You didn't finish," he said. I pushed past him and ran to my truck, started it, hit the gas. I turned onto the road and ended up right back in front of the station. Same buzz of the garage light, same man, same nozzle in his hand. I tried a second time, then a third. The road always turned back. The woods always led to the same gas station. By the fourth loop, the boy was outside holding his sketch pad up to my window. This time it was me on the page, my eyes missing, my mouth sewn shut. I don't remember how I got out. I just remember waking up in my truck on the side of Highway 101, engine cold, the tank still full. No gas station behind me, no gravel road, just forest. And in my passenger seat, a styrofoam container with a fork stuck in the meat, and a note written in black ink on the lid. "Next time, eat slower." My name's Nate Rodriguez. I've worked wildfire crews for a decade now, mostly in the backwoods, up north, deep timber, the kind of places where you don't see roads, power lines, or people for days. I've seen fire do wild things, make grown men cry, jump canyons, rip through an entire forest in hours. But what I saw on the south slope of Murder Mountain, fire didn't scare it. It waited for the smoke. It used it. It was during the September burn, 20,000 acres going hot in Humboldt County. We were cutting containment lines up near Alder Point. We'd been spiked out there for 3 days, working 16-hour shifts, sleeping under tarps, eating MREs while ash fell like snow. And then, guys started hearing things in the trees. At first, we figured it was stress, maybe a mountain lion, but the sounds were too high up, too heavy, like someone was walking around in the canopy. Even during daylight, branches swayed where nothing should have been. At night, we'd hear creaking, like boards shifting above us. One guy swore he saw a face watching from a nest of leaves, pale, expressionless, eyes too wide. Then Franks disappeared. 1 minute he was setting hose line. Next, we found his radio still on, resting at the base of a burned redwood. Scorched handprints all around it, but no footprints, no drag marks, like something had pulled him up. The next night, I stayed up while the others slept. Kept my headlamp off. Watched the tree line. That's when I saw it, way up in a burned cedar, maybe 50 feet high. A shape crouched in the branches like a predator. Long limbs, bare chest, filthy pants hanging off narrow hips. But it was human. Sort of. It was chewing something, tearing into it with long, crooked fingers. And then it looked at me. Didn't blink, didn't move, just watched. I climbed the next morning. Stupid move. I know that now. But I had to see. Near the top of that cedar was a hollow carved into the trunk. Inside were bones, clothing, old Polaroids, and a metal tag tied to a leather bootlace. Wade C., U.S. Forest Service. The photo on top showed a fire crew. The same ridge. The same forest. Taken 20 years ago. The man in the photo, smiling in the back row, looked just like the thing I saw in the tree. I almost fell on the way down. Slid the last 10 feet. Hit the ground hard. Something fell with me, a strip of scalp still warm. There was chewing above me, and laughter, not loud, just one long breath of air through rotted teeth. I got out. Hitchhiked to Eureka. Filed a report. No one followed up. No one cared. They told me I was exhausted. probably dehydrated, but I know what I saw. And I know what's still out there. Some nights when the wind's right, I swear I can still hear the branches shifting. High above. Like he's still watching, waiting, looking for the next fire. Because that's when he feeds. And the forest always burns again. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the forgotten corners of Humboldt County, where the trees don't just grow, they remember. From the thing in the barn, to the face wearers, to the man who lives above the flames, Murder Mountain keeps its secrets buried, and, sometimes, fed. If you enjoyed tonight's stories, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let us know which tale haunted you most. Until next time, stay on the road, stay out of the woods, and whatever you do, don't stop on Murder Mountain.